This is one hell of a moment for me. We've put the 3-rotor up on a lift. I don't think this thing's ever been on a lift. And the doctor has decided to operate.
Bend over. First thing we're going to do is take off this horrible, disgusting, hideous...
Be careful what you say.
Exhaust.
Okay, okay. I didn't do it.
And they have these ugly clamps.
Yeah, I hate those clamps with a passion.
Alright, there goes 1/2.
That's probably as tight as it was, too.
Yeah. Get this off the zip tie over there.
Let's review this exhaust. So we do have metal. I think that's important.
That is metal, yes.
We have a resonator, we have a muffler in a sense. We have a very leaky mid-pipe connection and a very leaky flex pipe connection.
We have a badass hanger.
Whoa, those are nice.
Adjustable.
Oh, it's self-lubricating.
Yeah.
This is the other place that it's supposed to clamp onto, but we've swapped diffs. Yeah, so much to improve on. Definitely the intercooler. I wanted to weld this thing for years, and I welded this one. So I got my nut. Even while we were trying to make the power, we're making these clamps. I actually ended up having to do weird shit to them. But look at those beautiful oil coolers. You set that thing on the ground, it is so warped.
I kind of want to step on its frustration.
Yep.
Surfing
God, that looks so much more professional just by taking off the intercooler. You guys know what we're about to do. We're about to do some magic.
As you guys know, I love to make them squirt.
Oh, geez. Well, we had coolant in there. Yeah, that's for damn sure.
That's good, that's good.
With Isaiah gone, I can return to my favorite type of things. Clamps that are all fucked up.
I want to just hit that on your head.
This is the unboxing. But he started putting his little dirty mitts on this one. And so I was like, okay, get the camera, get the camera. I've been drooling at this for actually quite some time.
For 2 years now?
Yeah, it's been a long time now. This specific one hasn't been out for 2 years, but the G42 series has been. This is the G42 1450. So if you were a piston engine, this would make up to 1450, well, for the wheels. So 2JZs, RB26s, all that sort of crap. This is beautiful.
Again, harder.
We've
got to make it spin.
This is a 79 millimeter turbo. One of the most fascinating things about it is this exhaust wheel. Now this exhaust wheel is just about the exact same size as the one we have on the car. So we have a 4508 on the car. Runs great, but this is supposed to have up to 20% more flow. Realistically, with the way the 3-rotor's breathing right now, we're expecting over 900 would be ridiculous. So just for comparison, this is the 115.
And this is the 128.
Yeah.
You know, I'm always a little bigger.
So this is the most efficient part of the whole setup. This is one of our 2 cores to play with, but this is the core for 1,000 horsepower 3-rotor.
I did this and Rob was busy, so you guys don't get that beautiful moment. But it's pretty close. I just have to modify this badass heat shield.
I didn't even realize that. I looked over behind before I turned the camera, like, wait a second.
So it's just super close over here, but it gives us more. I mean, you wouldn't have to cut the shock tower.
Yeah.
If you had this guy.
Yeah, that's true. It's even tighter.
Yeah, that thing.
And is that the 128?
Yep.
Oh, it's even more compact. God, it's beautiful. That is sexual.
I like this. It's super sick right there.
Oh, it looks good. Your eyes are not deceiving you. Joel does have the camera level. This machine is now on an angle. It's one of the coolest things I've ever done because it's really simple. I loosened it up and then marked my default position, and now you can see this whole head turns.
What degree did you put it on by chance?
Yes. Actually, it's roughly 15 degrees at this moment because this doesn't have a degree.
You have an angle finder, don't you?
We do. What we're about to do is create a knife edge on this part right here because this is a divided housing and we don't have a divided. This is a 3-rotor, so we don't have 1 rotor and 2 rotors. We have 3, and there's no proper way to get 3 into 2. That does not work. That's really bad for exhaust pulses. So we're doing that, but I just ordered this in from ATP, and it is this right here, something I've wanted for a long time, a locating V-band flange. If you know the 3-rotor, that has been gone for a long time. But not only does that, but it also goes from the 3.5 to 4 inch down pipe that we have. So a nice, beautiful transition machined into this as well. So this was, it's like $50 shipped. It's ridiculous, to be honest, but if I had a lathe, I wouldn't charge any less than $50. So I'm complaining as a customer.
I found your angle finder. That's the quickest thing I can do.
Closest thing we have to an angle finder. So we're at 8 degrees.
That looks good to me.
I'll go a little bit more. You know, the scariest thing for me is actually getting this back to 0. This is stainless, but it's still steel. So it's a step above cast shitty steel or iron. So we still have to go slow. So I'm gonna start this side, so climb mills that way. Okay. I just wanted to see this and watch it. But yeah, so we'll now come in over here. Learning how to use this stuff, definitely improving. This is one of the coolest things I've done. So that's back to 0. We'll go to 81 degrees and then we'll watch for this bubble to get in the right spot. There we go. There are faster ways to do what I'm doing, but it's, you know, always learning, always trying to improve. I am super happy with how my very first time of doing this went. I made a baby knife edge, but we're gonna clean it up the last of it with this massive air compressor and just a porting tool. I think the whole thing's not square, so it's got angles inside of there. So we'll clean that up and she's ready to go, but check that out.
Oh, turned out better than I thought.
Yeah, excellent base, absolutely excellent. Cleared all those corners out and then just matched them into the center blade. And the center blade has a lot of meat still because we're talking, you know, over 1,000 degrees by this spot here. It's gonna get hot and you don't want to get so thin that it breaks off over time. So we need to still rely on what's inside of here. But yeah, I cleaned out these back corners here so the air flows. And then I cleaned out these 2 corners as well so it flows in as well. I could probably take a little bit more meat down in here out. I took a little bit of a sanding wheel just to take, you know, basically deburr this edge here, and just the flow, smooth flow is what I was going for, and that's what I think is happening here. So I'm very, very happy with this. I'm gonna have the guys clean it up, but I'll be honest, I couldn't have been able to do that last step without this shitty piece of shit, and that is the trick. Oh my God, that thing, I never stopped going, and you don't understand how, like, cool, you see it on video and like, oh, it's a shop and they're gonna talk good about things that they get. No, you do not understand. That thing is a game changer because I don't have to wait for 2 air compressors. It's so much better. But we're gonna clean this whole thing out because it's full of stainless steel, and that would be horrible for the turbo, obviously, and it's, you know, generally horrible for humans.
You ever had a shark?
There's no way this is cutting straight. Car with that thing.
I'm the Leo meme.
We're gonna mate the turbo with the exhaust. Hey, don't look at this.
Let me see. Don't damage the. Don't damage it. Oh. Hi, baby. I love it.
That's big in there.
Well, it's, the old Borg Warner hit here. That's why he shaved that area down.
Oh yeah, the best. Yeah.
Yeah, and it hit here and here. So this is much more compact.
Smaller but fatter.
Yeah.
It looks more bubbly to me. Original blow-off valve. This is how I got Rob's number and his PayPal information when he made 900 and something on the dyno and then blew up 2 years ago. Boom. Perfect. It hit your throttle bracket.
No way.
Yeah, the clamp. We could bend the bracket down.
Yeah, that's my thoughts too.
Came out like Japanese cast aluminum.
It's good that I'm not over here. We could have kept that.
You're in the way. You're too big now. You need to make room.
You know, one of my favorite things about Isaiah is he, no matter how much I joke with him, he always genuinely considers it. Like, okay, fuck this guy, but let's see what we can do.
Let's bend this up.
One of the biggest problems I've had with my cars in the past, and actually the reason the rotary vet caught on fire, was I wish I could fabricate more, and here we are now. Let's take lessons from this, and I'll share this information with you guys to prevent you from having the same problem. So, turbos have a very small inlet. Still means a lot of oil flow, but your outlet of turbo oil has to be massive, has to be way larger. You get that oil out of there, otherwise if it builds pressure inside of that turbo, the oil will come out of the front and the rear, and you'll have oil burning both ways, into the engine and out of the exhaust. The oil return line on the bottom of a turbo is so close, this is whatever, 1,000-degree temperature going into this, that your instinct to use rubber hoses, while genuine, is misguided. That will melt, the hose could potentially collapse, and then it will block up the turbo, causing the problems that you saw on the rotary vet. Isaiah's doing it for me, but this was my idea that I wanted to do for the rotary vet back then, was
Extend it. You know?
extends. I wonder if those are even still a thing.
You wouldn't know about those. Huh?
Joel.
Whoa.
Yeah, the $24.99 a month. You answered way too quick.
Yeah, that was way too fast.
The idea is that,
It extends.
yeah, you can extend. Make sure that this is far enough to clear so the AN fitting doesn't get in touch with the T4 flange. So this is a little bit long, and that's okay too. But make sure that this doesn't go below the return line on the front of your engine, or the rear, wherever, if you're a piston engine. You want it to kind of slope down and over. If it dips down, now it's got a pool of oil that has to be pushed through, and once again you could have a chance of blocking your oil thing. Or the hose, in this case, would bend down and then kink as soon as it gets really hot. So this worked really well for the existing turbo setup, and you can see it was actually starting to form this way. But let's get rid of the rubber. So there you go. I've threaded the needle between those two. Isaiah welded that little thing up all together, and look at that. It's not touching either, although you'd want it to gravitate towards the colder side of the turbo, but it is not touching the exhaust, and it won't melt against the exhaust. So you see that nice narrow area, and we nailed it. And even with this V-band flange a little loose, it's still, I have the turbo pushed all the way in, and it looks close, but they are not touching. So now that I can put the AN fitting all the way down past that, down here, makes that a nice little elbow. Now, of course, V-band would be certainly a lot easier to do all this, but it's nice to work with what we've got for now.
What's going on, Rob?
Our little cat's female, and she's got a boyfriend that chased her into the shop and then realized all of us bros, her older brothers, were in there. And he hauled ass right back out. So it's a Maine Coon. It looks like he's not afraid of us, but he's right over there. We're trying to get him to communicate. We come in peace.
Right under Rob's truck.
There he goes. That's a big cat. The cat should be outside, being a little bit of interruption. I've got the core of the new G42 in place, the turbo inlet line, both coolant lines, which basically were an easy swap over, and then the turbo oil return line, which I made the shorter AN 10AN to 10AN fitting, put the spark plug, basically fiberglass boot over it, and so now we've got a nice clean oil flow straight through this turbo. This thing looks beautiful. The core of the turbo is all set up, so Isaiah's still working his magic on the intercooler, but at least I got my part done. Oh, my bad. Thank you. What you just saw me milling out was my beautiful titanium piece here, and I kind of did a choose your own adventure because Isaiah chose to put the flange right here on my Gretty elbow, which I love very dearly.
You're the one that wanted the Gretty elbow so bad.
I wanted it so bad. I wanted the whole elbow, but with the clamp being here, and these clamps are actually kind of tough to, like when you have the whole clamshell thing around it, I had to move this down. And so I did move this down. We'll probably add some weld back in once we get it in the final spot so this does not move like this, but at least it's down lower. And that still shouldn't, it still pulls all the way back down there. So it's not like we're gonna run out of throttle. Yeah, that is.
In the bumper.
See how deep in it is? The slightest bit of trimming on the bumper, which is exactly what I wanted. I wanted it where it would be in, but not like the four rotor. It's all the way out here. So it'll be in moderately, which lets you know that we mean business.
Oh, I dig that.
Yeah.
Really good.
Mm-hmm.
Easy.
Who weld this on? I think that is BEA beautiful. That's so rigid.
Heavy, heavy.
JMD has been an awesome part of the 4-rotor and now the 3-rotor, and they're kind of unsung heroes to the whole process. Isaiah introduced me to them, and they've just been nothing but...
I only use their material.
Yeah. There we are. Nice Van Gen clamps. We've got...
Van Gen style.
Yes, Van Gen style. We have titanium and we have aluminum. This is actually meant originally for 2 parts of the 4-rotor exhaust, but that 4-rotor has been nothing short of insane. And so these, again, are all mandrel bent, in-house JMD, and this is actually titanium, not aluminum, not steel. We're going to be using these for the intercooler piping, which I think is now going to be like a signature. All of our cars have intercooler piping made out of titanium.
It saves me a million times. I don't have to weld each little bend pie cut.
You can see here, this is what's really nice about that flange for that, is that this fits inside of that flange,
Makes for a nice weld.
like that. So yeah, now it's stuck in there, but Isaiah can work his weld magic.
We are solid. So that's how easy that is. Let's, yeah.
Wow.
All of this is amazing.
I was actually kind of scared of that one. That one's not too bad. Be like this, and then like goes like that, and go like that, and go like that.
Yeah, I was thinking all those.
What I try to do is I try to line up the seams. That way you don't see them. That's why I hate tacking without back purging. You see like the little in there, oxidized. That's not good. It's not perfect. Why you gotta come out at this time?
Maybe could you move? Is it gonna really? The angle over there is maybe just a little too.
We fucked it all up. Wow.
I know that J&Z did all that badass work doing those mandrel bends, but can you high cut it?
There you go.
I come out, that's
Not
perfect.
going anywhere.
It feels good to say it, doesn't it?
Look, I'm not touching, not even close to touching anything.
Yeah. And it's
I'm
the
a
like
cool finger between here, finger between not there, but
it's like the straightest path too. Just right slalom right out of the turbo and whoosh.
you know I'm straight, so. You're touching it too much.
Sorry.
You got so
I started getting into it. I was like, wait a second, I want to start seeing what I'm looking at, and then I got yelled at.
I do it because I care about your health, you know?
I know.
Weird looking thing. So today, I'll make Rob be a big boy and get a dual flow meter regulator. So this is actually used for back purging of all the titanium I'm going to be doing. Boom. Look at that. Let's go show him. Congratulations, it's a flow meter.
You know, I had one of these, but they were really cheap, like the Chinese one, and it would never work.
I say, what do you think that is?
I trust this one will be better than what I had.
You have to blow through it to make sure it's working. Oh, look at that. That's why I stick around right there.
I was like, oh, because it's entertaining? No.
I could have welded aluminum on that. Nice. That's what a cut looks like. Not ovaled out. Has some quality bending right there. Titanium at that. Where do you want this thing?
I like it. It's more compact. There's space there.
I'm done.
No.
There's no fuel right here. Don't worry about that. Don't try that at home.
There's a big cat. It looked like half raccoon, half bear. Oh, there's Ghost. Man, this is a jungle out here.
I don't want to do it, but I'm gonna do it. I mean, I'm just a natural born cheater, you know. So
Yeah, I see you cheating only because I know you. All things considered, I do love when it's straight, but I love what you're doing.
you don't even know about straight.
Don't do it like that. Yeah, that hurts. We weren't able to go to an alignment shop today. It was the last possible day, but thankfully Tanner is here.
Got one of them fat fucking dips, huh?
Yeah, 48.8 out of an Explorer. Got a TP6 Magnum.
Nice.
Oh, really? Yeah.
What the fuck?
So Rob didn't want to give me a third gear full because he was like, "Oh no, it's too shaky. You know, it's the alignment's all off. I can't go fast in the street." So had to call on my boy Tanner. He was like, "Hey, can you come help me?" He's like, "Dude, you always last minute. And I was like, my life is last minute. But so luckily he likes me enough to make time after his long day of work and align the car. Now Rob doesn't have an excuse, and he's just staring at me. But so he's gonna have to do a nice street pull.
I'm on a base tune. So, you know, it's new turbo, you know, air is really dense. Wastegate, we don't know the spring exactly. It could be 14.3 or 14.
No, 14.2. I have all the information, dude. If you don't want to tune, I have a guy down the street.
We all wanted Baja Blast, so we all got Baja Blast. This is like hard late night crunch. From my opinion, it's between a 5 and a 10. You got a left tire. You want a 5 and a 10 on the left tire. Right tire, we're closer to 15, 20. It's kind of my secret setup, but now Tanner knows it, so it's a little awkward. But he's gonna go fix all that. This will be legitimately, in the history of owning this car, I've owned this since 2010. I think maybe 2 weeks I've had it where the steering wheel was actually straight.
8.25, and the other side's like 8.5.
The rears, we even took some of those off and replaced the bushings and bearings and everything like that, but the rears were pretty much in line. I am super obsessive about exact fitment. Like, see how there's that little bit of gap here and no gap here? I am obsessed. Of course, here I am using a replica bumper, complaining about fitment. But I end up bondoing and fixing all these edges like obsessively over time. While Isaiah's doing all the welding and I'm doing a lot more wiring for like launch control and stuff like that, I had Andrew and Chris work on the front splitter, and Big Wang Gang, I guess, is where we're at right now. Look at... Okay, that's not the final product, but that's the beginning. I wanted to make sure that they got the absolute minimum taken off for making basically an under tray under the front bumper. I hate seeing front bumpers with air just underneath them, and when I drove this car to about 182 on the half mile, front wheels start getting a little light. So I want to avoid that. We don't even need a splitter, we just want to get underneath the bumper. So right now we're working on supporting it with both the sway bar, and then we're going to build something right here so that way it can be supported with that. So we're not holding any sort of downforce from the bumper supports up here, because that's what happened originally when I had a splitter on there. I knew better, but it was supported in the rear, but in the front was all fiberglass, and it actually pulled down at 165 miles an hour. It was actually very, very terrifying. I ended up removing it. This is really to strengthen the bumper as well. We'll start here, trace out the bumper, and cut that, and then just like the 4-rotor, we'll add, I made sure we had enough extra material to add the splitter. We'll do a small one, nothing crazy this time. So I cleaned up the front bumper air inlet so that it's not hitting the intercooler anymore, and I just traced this side. We're planning to have it where it's hidden inside. The bumper's curved under here, so you can't fit the metal inside of that. That's why you'll see me not holding this directly up. So now, when you take this bumper off, there's your line to cut. And that way, it won't be all heavy weighed down by all that. So that's our under tray for sure. That gives us, if we took a ½ inch off to get it in there, we still are left with this much, like total. So we would only lose a fraction of this curve width. We can't use this outer edge anyway. I'll fix up these things up on the back side of here, but these will definitely hold it in place at least for the time being. Isaiah, does just his work, whatever. But I go and look at it and eat every time. Look at that titanium. This is the first time I've seen this one. Welded, mandrel bent by JMD. Like, you don't see titanium like this. Ultra light, and it's actually rather thick. It was meant for exhaust, but we're using it for intercooler piping. And, oh, beautiful. That one's even cooler.
Hello.
Oh, we get a three-way party on this. It looks so wild without pie cuts.
Yeah, I got little pie cuts here, but
Yeah.
whatever. Just don't look at those guys. Stop. 0.59 millimeter compared to most people have 0.35 or 0.30. So this is good quality U.S. stuff, and that's why it's expensive.
Yeah.
Bring me the oil, sir.
Yes. Time for the Valvoline. You see 0-20. This is normally not what you run.
This isn't the.
I know. This is for the insight.
So you just give that that right there, and it's super thin.
Yeah.
It feels like pre-cum. Yeah. Put it on there. Bad gas is all the weird parts.
Yeah.
Not bad gas, but just not perfect gas because we're towards the end of the tank.
Just so you know, when the 4-rotor was running under full boost, it does this. That is not a boost leak whatsoever. These are meant to float like that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Before we had to loosen the intercooler.
30 minutes.
All right, this one's gonna be easier if we go up on the lift.
What we're gonna do right now is we're gonna reuse the old exhaust just due to time, and this will give you guys a really good sound comparison between how this is versus all of the resonators in the middle. We're gonna adapt this to his new setup. We just don't have time. This morning, it all combines together like usual. Threw us a lot of curveballs, but the funnest curveball of all is the one I'm holding up right here. Yes, this is El Badass Mofo. Okay, this is the original hood for the car, and because of some of the things that we had to do, challenges, it's time to have the car just throw a little bit quick nod back to its original glory.
We're fucking stupid.